Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be right back with our next guest. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Inside the Dam podcast. This is episode 18 of the series, and what a great series it has been with MSU Athletics as they are able to provide us some wonderful student athletes to talk to on a weekly basis and hear about them, hear on their stories, and a lot more about their athletic endeavors and, even in the classroom as well. Unfortunately, we are not doing a live stream tonight as we had some technical difficulties earlier that we have to reserve some more time to solve at a later time, but we are here recording, and so, this will just be a pre-recorded bit for you guys to watch later on demand, so be on the lookout for any of the promos going on in and around social media circles with KMSU TV and radio. I'm your host, Cole Clementich. Got some help from Logan Dean tonight. He's back here assisting on the tech side, and also he'll be on later in the show. But again, great show for you guys today. We have another great 3 guests today, 2 softball players and 1 from the track and field team as well, so be looking forward to that. But without further ado, guys, let's get started here for episode 18. As a sophomore from Ham Lake, Minnesota, she finds herself playing for the softball team. Abby Lohse joins us. Abby, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Abby, so you guys actually just got done with your last home game and now road games the rest of the way through. Just kind of briefly talk your guys' season. Has it been going up to how you guys were kind of hoping, especially with new coaching staff, and describe your play a little bit and how your season has been going on a personal level?
Yeah, so actually getting new coaches is always tough. Never know how you're going to adjust, never know how it's going to go. So having the first semester of no games and just kind of getting to know each other was really well, and I think benefited us in the long run. And obviously we've been on the uphill for the last 2 years as a Minot State softball team, improving every year. And this year we've actually done very well. We've split with all but 4 teams, swept 3 people, and got only swept by 1 team. So we've actually been doing really well as a team, as ourselves. I've started most of the games. I'm an outfielder. Big voice from my coaches wanted me to be a big voice this year as we've lost a couple of big leaders back in the fall. So I've kind of taken on that role, being one of the older ones out there, but it's been good. It's been a fun time out there, just kind of getting to know the girls and staying loose. So.
Yeah, and you talk about fun. I mean, the guys seem to have a lot of fun out there. It's very crazy, and just we've been talking with some of the other girls on the team. You girls have just an infectious positive energy on campus, not only there, but also on the field. What do you guys do for kind of a routine? And do you guys kind of have some team bonding experiences that kind of help that a little bit? Just touch on that.
I mean, I think being in a girls' team, it can be rough sometimes. Don't get me wrong. We have our moments. But for the most part, it's just kind of hanging out, keeping it close outside of softball too helps a lot. We've done some pizza parties, we've done just some Christmas stuff, we've done some other holiday type things just to kind of keep the energy fun. And we like to have our dance parties. That keeps the energy up too. I don't know. We mesh well. We're a very tight-knit group that likes each other a lot. So.
No, that's good for team bonding experiences, and love to hear that, certainly. Well, as mentioned, getting done with the home portion of the season, you've been playing a lot yourself. Just kind of talk how the season has gone for you, and also you actually had a walk-off this past game against I believe it was Upper Iowa. Tell us a little bit about that and just describe the feeling to us.
Okay. Yes, so it was my first career college home run that I walked it off with, 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth. But as for the season, it's been pretty well. Some say there's a thing as a sophomore slump because teams get stats on you after your freshman year. Or you start playing after your freshman year, and they kind of pitch the pitches that you might not know how to hit that well. But personally for me, like, I've just kind of gone up there with a clear mind and just kind of see ball, hit ball type of mentality. And I've hit the ball very well, probably one of the best years I've had all my whole career of softball. But yeah, I kind of figured I was going to hit a home run here soon. I've been hitting a lot of deep fly balls, seen the ball really well out of all the pitchers I've faced. So my team, some of the girls came up to me afterwards and were telling me how they had a feeling, but they wanted to push it down because they didn't want to jinx it. But I just kind of kept my head clear and like just saw the ball, and it was one of my favorite pitches to hit low inside and mashed it over left center. So, but coming home to see all the girls, it was surreal. It was the most fun moment ever.
You know, with that said, I've never asked this question to any of the girls. Like, are any of you any superstitions at all? You know, with that, you know, like you described the sophomore slump, do you try to kind of keep things in order, or how's that like?
I try to don't think about the sophomore slump, because sometimes it can get in your head and it actually turns into a big sophomore slump. Superstitions, there are some unspoken ones, like if a pitcher's having a really good game, you don't talk about the no-hitter or perfect game they might be having because don't want to jinx it. If someone's going like 2 for 2 and might have another at bat and go 3 for 3, you don't say it. Like, just the unspoken, like, you don't want to say it out loud and
unspoken rules.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx anything. So, yeah.
No, that is totally fair, and yeah, that's really happens a lot. You know, we see that often a lot on social media. But you're from the north side of the states, being from Minnesota, so you're adjusting to the cold. I want to talk about the bubble a little bit because you guys still have not played outside yet. Has that kind of, you know, being able to play games, it's a great opportunity. You know, never take anything for granted. Have you guys thought of, you know, have you missed playing outside a little bit, or what's that like?
So we have a lot of bubbles out in Minnesota, so playing in the bubble is a very, like, advantage to being in the north. I was actually saying at practice today, as we practiced at our home field outside, thankfully, because it was finally nice out, that I was kind of sad we didn't get to play outside this year on our field. Like, it just got redone in the last year, so it's all vamped up and new, but I guess it's for next year. Like, I think some girls are really sad that we haven't been able to play at home outside, but at least we had the bubble that we were able to get our games into, so.
No, yeah, you just said it there. I mean, don't take it for granted. You know, if you get the chance to play games, you know, whatever venue it is. But yeah, that is a good point there as well. So, but yeah, before we move on here, folks, I just want to remind you, Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. Abby, let's move on to the classroom life, or I guess the campus life for you. What's that like? Tell us a little bit about your majoring in corporate fitness and wellness management. Do you apply that to your sporting endeavors, and just tell us, expand on campus life a little bit.
So I actually live with a former softball player. I met her on my visit when I was a junior in high school, so that would have been 4 years ago now, and we are now living together, so kind of crazy. I actually also added finance as a major to my corporate fitness, so I'm a double major. I love being an athlete. Like, I love being physical, like doing physical activity. I love being outside. I actually came into college being a nursing major, realized I didn't want to be in the hospital or inside all day. I want to do something active and outside and help people so I can help them in another way. And so the fitness industry called my name. And that's how I found corporate fitness. And then my dad owns a business back home, so that's why I did finance too, so I can help him with that. But yeah, I just love all physical activity. So that's kind of what drew me really towards this major.
Yeah, everyone's path is different. Sometimes the first time you try to get into something, it doesn't turn out. Like, I've had that happen before. Totally get it. And yeah, it's sometimes, for the better. You want to change different pathways. So yeah, nothing wrong with that for sure. But kind of talk about your journey growing up, at the high school level, finding your way to Minot. Talk your story a little bit of how you came to Minot State and what types about it intrigue you. Obviously, there's a softball aspect, but what about campus has intrigued you in your college experience, and a little bit more on, I guess, the major as well. What enticed you, I guess, to add finance?
Yeah. So growing up, I've played only softball my whole life. So obviously, I knew, like, being the little 12-year-old wanting to play in the college ball, watching the Women's College World Series, like, I wanted to do that one day. So I knew that playing a college sport was definitely a goal of mine. And throughout high school, I played 5 years of high school ball, 3-year varsity starter. We made it to state my senior year, ended up placing third, which is the best our high school had ever done. Only going to state twice, I guess 3 times now. And yeah, so I played club ball in the summer, and my head coach was best friends with the head coach here at Minot. And he was like, hey, like, they're watching you, like, they want you. And I said, okay. And my dad was talking about how Minot's in the armpit of North Dakota and how and why I would ever want to go to school out there. And I was like, okay, Dad, I guess I don't want to go out there. Like, it's colder than here. I don't know if I can do it. And then we ended up coming out here, visiting. I ended up loving the campus. I never wanted to go to a big school. Always kind of wanted to be, like, smaller campus, like, close-knit social life throughout the entire campus, and that's exactly what Minot provides here with all the MSU Life events and everything that they provide through the student life. And I just loved that aspect of it. And the girls here at Minot for the softball team are amazing. Like, they're some of my best friends. And one thing led to another, and I came here for schooling and softball, and I've never looked back. Like, I truly could not imagine it imagine it being something different. And I now, corporate fitness and finance. Yep, that's my major. I haven't fully decided what I want to do with the corporate fitness side of things. I know I could open up my own gym. I've also have a coach back home that I could help her with, like, softball clinics and weightlifting and all of that type of stuff with her business. And yeah, just kind of get myself out there, I guess, in their sports fitness industry back home.
Well, Minot is a good place to make connections, build, kind of a resume, build relationships with people, and yeah, very tight-knit community, like you said. And you mentioned MSU Life in there. Talk about, obviously, bingo's a big one. We've been talking it with some of the other girls too, but what are some of maybe your favorite activities that you or the team like to do on campus?
I really like when they host the bonfires in the quad. They do that in the fall, and I'm just a big bonfire girl in the summer with a s'more, like, cuddle up under a blanket. Like, I love that. Do that almost every night back home with my family. I love 500 Ways to Win. My team, we will race to go get the ping pong balls. I mean, easy way to win free stuff. You always get something good, too. But bingo probably by far be my favorite. I mean, I've probably only won, like, twice in my whole my career here at Minot, which isn't very often considering they have quite a few every year. But it's just fun to be there with your teammates and making the memories. So glad that MSU Life can be able to provide that for all of us.
Yeah, great experience for the student body, certainly. And before we get out of here, I know you had just touched on it, with your corporate fitness and wellness and finance majors, maybe a little too far down the line, but, kind of feel free to touch on, where do you kind of see yourself in the next couple of years? Obviously, still on campus, still playing softball, but, maybe down the line in the future, what do you kind of envision where you kind of expect to see yourself maybe?
So in the next 2 years, I guess, I will still obviously be here at Minot, hopefully, playing softball and doing my schooling, finishing all that up. But after college, I will plan on moving back home. My sister's graduating this year with an interior design major, so we're going to try and flip houses type thing. So that's kind of where my finance degree helps in that side of stuff. But yeah, I really just want to move back home. I really do like Minnesota. It's a little better than North Dakota, I have to say. A little less windier.
Yep, we don't blame you.
Yeah, a little less snowier.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get all 4 seasons. I love it up here in the north. I'm a Midwest girl, so yeah, kind of staying up here and doing my thing sports-wise, athletic-wise, that type of stuff. So.
What's the saying? Only the best come north?
Oh,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Abby, we are out of time. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and there you just have it. You just heard there, folks, sophomore from the softball team, Ham Lake, Minnesota native, Abby Lohse, sharing us her story on her journey and also participating on the softball team and also talking campus life as well. Before we head to a break, we want to remind you guys about Papa John's and what Admir and the crew have going on there. They have an MSU special, and right now you can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99, but you must show a valid MSU ID. We thank those guys as always. They're going to be helping us big time. They're going to be supplying food for our Rock the Quad event tomorrow, so thank you guys as always for helping us with that and also for supporting the Inside the Dam podcast. We'll be right back after a quick break. Logan is going to be joined with our next guest who happens to be on the track and field team. You know, kind of a little sneak preview there, but don't go anywhere, folks. You're watching the Inside the Dam podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be right back with our next guest. Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be right back with our next guest.
About right there. Hello and welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast, brought to you by Papa John's. I am Logan Dean here with the second guest of our show, Jakob Braunstein, correct? Yep. He is part of the men's track and field team from Richfield, Washington. Jakob, thanks for being on the show with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So I have like a little starter question here for you, just to get to know you. So what's your favorite restaurant here in Minot, and what do you like to get there?
I think my favorite right now is Jimmy John's. It's fast, and I get my food quick. My favorite is probably the number 9, the Italian sandwich.
Good choice. And it's very convenient, right across campus.
Yep.
Don't gotta go far from it. So, I'll get into your track questions. So you're also you throw javelin here with your teammate, like beside your teammate Leif Nelson. So how does it feel that you and Leif are both top 2 in javelin in the NSIC?
Yeah, it's great. I remember when I first got here that we said that was a real possibility for us to do, and now that we're doing it, it's great. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to work with him every day and learn from him because he knows so much about javelin. It's awesome.
I bet, especially since he just broke like the school record and you're like right behind him too.
Yep.
I bet you just have the urge to like just want to pass him and have it like just have a friendly battle between you two, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's great.
So, how do you manage your time between school, practice, and your track meets?
Well, in the spring when we compete more, I like to take more online classes, so that way I can work on my work, like when we're traveling to different meets in the hotel when we have time off. So
And how much practice do you put in for javelin? Is it more than what people think?
a lot, yeah. For me, yeah, I've been throwing since third grade, so I've been putting in a lot of work ever since then. So
Just been in the gym, lifting, everything.
yep.
Is it more lifting, or is it like more like focusing on like your guys' like technique or whatever?
Yeah, so lifting is a big part of it, but I would say technique is more important than strength, and at least javelin. So
I see. So, what are, did you play any other sports in high school, other than track?
yes, I played football and basketball.
So, did you just know track was going to be your sport, or did you want to like play any other sports in college?
Yeah, like I said, javelin since third grade. So
So you just knew from the jump that was going to be
yeah.
your sport.
Yeah.
And so, from you being from Washington, what made you decide to come to good old North Dakota?
Well, there were only one of two schools that recruited me, and just weighing my options, this was the best place for me. So
Well, glad you're here.
Yeah.
Probably don't enjoy the weather too much,
it's not too bad.
just the wind.
Yeah.
So what does your day-to-day life look like besides having practice? Like, what are like some of your hobbies you like to do in your free time?
Just video games, I guess.
Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, I like Rocket League, and been playing a bit of Minecraft recently. So
Can't go wrong with some Minecraft for sure.
no.
So when it comes to like these big track meets you guys have, are there any nerves that you feel going into it, or are you just like kind of like don't think about everything that's about to happen?
For me, I get pretty nervous before meets, especially if it's a lot bigger meet. But for me, I just take a couple breaths, just envision my throw in my head, just think about that, don't think about anything else, and it usually works. So.
Well, it must be working since you're top 2 in the NSIC.
Yep.
I wouldn't stop what you're doing if I were you. So, so one last question, because I can't think of any else. Where do you see yourself after college, like in the next 5 years?
5 years, I'd like to be close to where Leif is, actually, and qualifying for USA's and hopefully the Olympics. So.
I feel like that's a great goal to have. So I'll get into some of your questions here. You recently qualified for the national, like NCAA mark. How did you feel once you found out you qualified for that?
I felt amazing. I started off the year not where I wanted to, but each meet I've been getting better and better, and it feels good to finally hit that mark. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So what made you? So you're currently majoring in corporate fitness. What made you decide to go into corporate fitness and wellness management?
Well, actually, I changed my major just like 2 weeks ago.
So you're no longer
No.
a corporate major? What'd you change to?
I changed it to multimedia communications. So.
What made you decide to change?
I was doing a lot of sports stuff with just track, and then also my classes were doing that, and so I felt like it was just too much of one thing. I wanted to change it up a little. So
I get that. So what made you first want to do corporate fitness though?
Sports.
Just sports, like once you were done, just wanted to, no matter what, work with sports?
Yeah.
So do you just want to, with this multimedia, do you just want to become like a Stephen A. Smith or something?
Maybe,
Or just talking sports on like live TV or something?
Yeah, I don't know what the end goal is, but I feel like it's a better fit for me. So.
Oh yeah, I get that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have any more questions for you. I appreciate you for being on the show. I would also like to thank Papa John's for sponsoring the show. Papa John's is a proud sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast. Right now they have a MSU special where you can get a large 2-topping pizza for only $7.99 if you show only if you show a valid MSU ID. Once again, I would like to thank Papa John's for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. Jacob, I would like to thank Jacob once again for joining me and spending time out of your day for this. I have been Logan Dean, and thanks for coming on the Inside the Dam podcast.
For tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be right back with our next guest. Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast. Again, this is episode number 18 of the series, I believe the second to last one before our last show of the year. And so we'll want to make it a good one. And also making the series a good one is the sponsorship we have with Papa John's. And right now they have an MSU special with a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99. You can get that if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew, as always, for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. They're going to help supply us great food and great pizza for tomorrow's Rock the Quad event. So as always, we want to thank them for all the help and support they've been giving us. So yeah, thank you guys again. And, of course, I'm Cole Clementich back for your third and final guest and segment of the show for tonight. And for this one, a senior from Orangevale, California, Leo Watson joins us. Leo, thank you for being here tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So you're one of the few seniors on the team, and you guys just had senior day this past weekend against Upper Iowa. Just talk us through the emotions of walking through the aisle, being recognized on senior day.
It was definitely interesting. I think that's the best way to put it. Lots of just mixed emotions in general. At the very beginning, I know like JC and I were talking about it as the only two seniors being recognized, where we walked out with our families, we did the pictures, we got the presents, but it didn't feel real yet. I still don't think reality's really set in. And we were just very much like, okay, we have to play a game. Like, that's what we were focused on. Not really all the other emotions that come with it, because you can't be that emotional when you play, obviously. But at the end of the last two games, they had us do a final, like, walk around the bases, and that one got me. I was bawling like a baby on that one. It was really, really sweet. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I said, lots of emotions, really bittersweet type of thing. It's hard to give up something you've spent your whole life doing, literally your whole life doing. You spend all your time doing it and everything like that. But it's definitely time for a new chapter, and I'm really excited to finish out this last, week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah, just try to make the most out of it.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, a walk around the bases. I've just seen the seniors being honored and nothing else, just get the pictures and gifts and all that stuff. But yeah, I've never seen that before. So might see that down the line. But yeah, so as mentioned, winding down on the season here, you guys just got done with your last home game, as I was talking to Abby about. So more road games on the upcoming trip. And just kind of talk, how do you girls finish strong and place high in the NSIC rankings before the tournament?
Well, I mean, we have, 3 series left to really try to either keep our place, like our standing where we're at, because currently we're set to make it. We have some wiggle room. But, I mean, we always want to win more games, right? Win more games, get better seeding into the tournament. So, ultimately, we win more, makes it easier come next week. But ultimately, we're not too worried about not making it. We're pretty much guaranteed it at this point, which is really cool, especially given that we didn't make it last year. So this is a really exciting time. But yeah, I mean, we have to use these last 3 series to really hone in on what we have to do individually and as a team. Try to just play clean softball, hit the ball well, do everything that we've been working on. Really just stay true to what we got to keep doing. So,
No, that is good. And I want your input as one of the upperclassmen, having been one of the juniors last year to moving into your senior year with a new head coach in the fold. What was that experience like for you? You know, being one of the upperclassmen, the kind of the key point here. Just talk a little bit about that. How's she been for you and also for the team mostly overall?
yeah, well, as far as new coaches go, this is not a completely new experience for me. I think like halfway through my high school career, I got a brand new high school coach who never coached before. Coming in, I got recruited by a different coach who showed up when I first got here freshman year. So handling and trying to be patient with a new coach is something I've gone through a number of different times now. So that was not really that big of an issue. And I know over the summer when we got the news that Nat would be leaving, we all just really kind of tried to focus on continuing to do everything that we've been doing, making the freshmen feel welcome, trying to support each other as a whole, thinking like no matter who the coaches are, we still have to play for each other, still have to be there for ourselves. And that doesn't change, no matter who your leadership is on the coaching staff. So continuing to try to do that for each other is really the key point ultimately, and that follows, I think, in any team sport. So,
Yeah, I think the baseball team was pretty intrigued with their coaching change, and maybe I'm not sure if tense is the right way to put it, but they were very curious on what was coming up next there. But for you, certainly yourself, having played a lot, started a lot this year, and really doing well at the same time, just kind of talk how your season has been going personally, how you think you've been doing, and also from a team aspect.
Well, personally, I mean, I'm a 4-year starter, so this isn't. I played basically the same number of games as I'm used to playing every year. But I mean, I'm hitting a lot better this year than I have in previous years. That's really cool. My defense isn't where it was last year, but I was focusing a lot more on hitting in the off season, and just trying to keep my skills where they are. So I wasn't really trying to improve with defense. But ultimately, I'm happy with all my performance, and I'm very happy with the team performance, especially with. I mean, they call this a turnover year where we have a low number of upperclassmen, new coach. Like, the odds are not stacked in your favor. And I think being placed where we are in the conference rankings, especially compared to last year, and the teams that we split to that we've never beat before in my time here, So I'm very happy with how the team is doing. And I think our team chemistry, like I said before, is just ultimately the most important thing. And I'm just hoping to see that continue to grow moving forward in the next years to come with these girls.
No, looking forward to that. Wishing you all the best. Before we get into some of the life in the classroom, we want to remind you guys you're watching the Inside the Dam podcast brought to you by Papa John's. Right now, you can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and Papa John's for sponsoring the podcast, and they'll be helping us out tomorrow as well. Leo, want to get into some of that life, outside of the playing on the diamond. So, you're majoring in English, it says on here, but we also had our last segment with Jakob. He actually just changed his major 2 weeks ago. So is it 2 in a row, or are you staying English? Is our script correct this time?
I've been English education, so close.
Education, yeah.
But yes, I'll be graduating with that in just a few weeks here. I actually have a job lined up over at Central Campus High School already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just got unofficially hired, you can say, in the last few months of my student teaching there. So that's all set up for the fall, and it's very, very exciting. But yeah, so I plan on being in the community a little bit longer at the very least. But I love the English department. I really do. Everyone in there. We're such a small department, but yeah, it's great to get to know everyone in there. And it makes it easy, to be able to know everyone in there. So I love to rep the English department. I feel like we don't get a ton of recognition just because there's not that many of us, and we don't do that many like big events or anything like that. But great people, great professors, and then plus we're about to go a whole new building with HeartNet renovations. So yeah, it's been a great experience. It really has. I have nothing but positives for my academic time at Minot.
Man, we cannot tell you how excited we are for the new HeartNet. I mean, it's just, we love these facilities now, but yeah, it's just the old stomping grounds just isn't the same. But yeah, I actually went through the Central Campus and Magic City Campus schooling days. So yeah, fun fact there. But yeah, so English education is your major, kind of talk a little bit more on the, classroom life, what type of classes do you take, and, what do you see, on a day-to-day basis? Like, what are some things that, kind of might be intriguing that some people may not know about?
Well, this semester has been a little bit different for me just because I have been student teaching. I actually just finished last Friday with my hours, so I kind of have these last 2 weeks just kind of chill and make sure I got my licensure stuff covered. But I mean, student teaching is no joke. It is, you're going in from 8-hour days, 40-hour weeks, and then doing softball on top of it has been a lot. Is probably the best way to put that. But it's been great, and I really have loved every second of it. As far as the English classes go, I mean, gosh, lots of reading, lots of writing, what you would expect from English courses. I think probably some of my favorite aspects was trying to learn a lot of the history and the culture behind what we're reading. So, I mean, we have British literature is a heavy focus, and then we also have American literature, obviously another heavy focus. We're in America. And we have, there's a world literature class we had taken, done a couple independent studies, given, just softball schedules and stuff like that. So professors have been fantastic in working with me with all these independent studies. But yeah, basically just lots of reading, and then you write about what you read, and you talk about what you read, and you write some more. So if you like the reading and writing, join the English department. And then, yeah, just having great conversations about philosophy and life and how these books can, even though they were written sometimes 100 years ago, they still hold up today. So, yeah.
Shakespearean stuff right there.
A little bit.
You mentioned British literature. Do you try to kind of intentionally speak an English accent?
No. That's actually an inside joke on the team. We have
oh boy.
Oh yeah, lots of fun accents that go on the team. None of them are very good. But they're a fun laugh, fun way to keep it lighthearted.
No, that's good. Yeah, we were talking team bonding with Abby, and it seems like you guys just always bring a positive, infectious energy to campus. And with that, talk a little bit. We heard 500 ways to win and bingo are some big ones from Abby. Are those some of your favorite activities? What are some of the other things that MSU Life provides that you guys enjoy, or maybe some favorite hangout spots or study spots? Where do you guys like to go to campus at times?
Well, honestly, everything MSU Life does is great. I think they do such a wide variety of things. They kind of just fit everyone, and I think that's awesome. It's a great way to get, especially the underclassmen, involved in campus and get them kind of that community built around them, to find those closer relationships that you want to find in college. So ultimately, I mean, we try to go to everything we can. Sporting events, any MSU Life events. I know football games were huge for us this year. We were tailgating at all of them as a team, getting food, just hanging out, having fun. I'm trying to think, we're always on campus, but we're always off campus too. We're always hanging out at people's apartments or at people's houses. And we have a local girl on the team, and her parents love to feed us, so we hang out at her house sometimes. But team bonding is huge, even if it's not the whole team, if it's just some people here, some people there. We try to get together as much as possible. In season's a little bit harder. Obviously, we're all a little bit busier, but especially early fall when, like I said, those freshmen are coming in. Our most important thing that we try to focus on is bringing those freshmen in, making them feel welcomed, giving them that sense of community and family, because homesickness is huge. So, but MSU Life does a fantastic job at that as well. We have Sarah on our team who's part of MSU Life, so we try to support her as much as possible as well. She works really hard, as does everyone in that group. So, yeah.
No, good to keep a happy and healthy balance there. And, before we get out of here, you mentioned you're going to be graduating here in a little bit pretty soon. So you said you got that job lined up with Central Campus. Just kind of talk us through, maybe your expectations throughout the rest of the semester. What are you kind expect to see, what could happen, what could go down, and obviously getting that degree. What do you think the feeling's going to be like moving forward?
I'm trying to prepare myself for how much I think I'm going to cry on our last game, no matter when that ends up being, sometime in that conference tournament. Like I said, bittersweet. There are so many emotions, good and bad, I think. Like I said, just waiting for that next chapter in life, I think, just moving on. But like I said, I've loved every part of this. So it's already sad. It's already is really sad to leave the girls, leave my family that I've been a part of for 4 years now. Even with the new coaches, they're family too now, So, and I love coming to campus. I love the energy on campus. So not being on campus very often is going to be different for me. But like I said, excited for the new challenge, the new chapter. Lots of different emotions in general.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to leave something that you've been a part of for a long time. But, when you look back and reflect, man, those are some really good years for sure. I know some of us are experiencing it too. But, that's all we have for the segment. Anything else you want to mention off the bat here real quick?
The only thing I can say is keep supporting each other. Sports teams, go to other sports teams, go to all the events, go to everything you can. Keep trying to build a community. That's all I really have. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being on, and check out some baseball as well. We'll get into that a little bit. But, folks, you just heard Leo Watson, senior on the softball team, originated from California. And that is going to do it for that. That's it for the three guests. We want to thank Abby, Jacob, and Leo for being on as always. And we want to remind you guys that Papa John's is the sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast. We thank Admir and the crew over there for always providing help and support for us and the podcast itself. They're going to be big time when it comes to the Rock the Quad event tomorrow. They're going to be providing food. And as always, thank you to Papa John's. And also check out their MSU special, a large 2-topping for $7.99 with a valid MSU ID. And real quickly, Logan, we're also going to be showcasing what's coming up this week on the the home games for MSU Athletics. So, Logan, it is the red one that should be highlighted. So what you guys are seeing right there. Obviously, that first game just became final earlier. Duluth winning, unfortunately, but luckily the Beavers got the best of them in the 2 games before that. So, but yeah, that's the home schedule for MSU Athletics. Check them out this weekend at Corbett Field when they take on the in-state rivals University of Mary. Should be a fun one indeed. But that's going to do it for us, folks. Again, another episode in the books. This has been number 18 of the series. Again, along with Logan Dean, I'm Cole Clementich signing off. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Take care and roll Beavs.